Record on this computer. Oh, she's on to us. Not really. It keeps coming and going. Oh yeah. Not monetizing this episode.
We don't care.
No, you gotta have a good time. Got to have a good time. Add graphics to your live video. If I knew how I would.
And my friend, we are Livy.
I see it. Howdy, folks. Sorry for the late notification. So I hope you are joining us this fine Wednesday evening. You are hanging out with Evan and Aaron. I am Aaron. This is my buddy Evan. And I think we got some fun stuff for you, as much as we ever do. Gonna start with something not heavy, but I think needs to be discussed.
Yeah.
And that is, we're seeing, a more resistant and more virulent variant of the virus. Say that 5 times fast, and it's beginning to infect more people. It seems, kids, younger people who don't have the vaccination seem also to be perhaps a little bit more vulnerable to it. So, right as we are kind of getting comfortable, getting back out there, it's summer, it's hot out. People want to be out doing things. This is popping up and we're seeing it. Obviously, we're seeing it in places with, lower rates of vaccination. We're seeing it in places, let's just face it, that are predominantly red state and just haven't taken the virus as seriously. That's not a diss on anybody right there, folks. That is merely a statement of fact. If you look at the statistics where this is beginning to have its blooms, it does coincide with that, and it is precisely for that reason. So, Evan, how have you been feeling up to this point? How are you feeling now? And what are your thoughts on how this is going to kind of impact the sort of the popular psyche? As this sort of back and forth because we can't get this under control.
Man, I tell you what, leave the dissing to me because I will definitely throw a diss out here right now. Tennessee, get your shit together. What is going on with you right now? I have no idea, my friend. It's twofold. Two things that we'll talk about COVID, and it's the politicization. Say that 3 times fast after you've been drinking of this thing, and literally the ignorance. I read a great article today talking about, and I want to get your opinion on this. Do you think that the GOP is actually, do you think they actually believe the lie, or is the whole purpose behind what they're doing now to promote a lie? Like just to be like, we just don't give a fuck anymore. It's just, It's a lie. I mean, do you think they really believe it, or do they just don't give a shit anymore? I mean, and I'll come back to the COVID, but I want to get your take on that because it's important to it.
I think this is one of those, weird, nebulous things that I'm not sure of. I file this in the same category of how many bad cops and good cops are there. I honestly don't know, because even the good cops or even the politicians that are, acknowledging the dangers that are out there, the big lie, COVID is real, things of that nature, still have covered, for their partners far too many times. So it's really hard to know who truly, is a believer. I think I get the impression that your Marjorie Taylor Greens, your Cawthorns, your Hollies, your Boberts, I think they are the next generation version of who was the guy that we pointed out last week or the week before asking whether or not we could move the gravitational pull of the moon
from Texas?
I think there seems to be a growing number of people who are wearing their ignorance and their lack of education on their sleeve, versus I think guys like Mitt Romney, I think Mitch McConnell. I mean, Mitch McConnell is now saying, it's ludicrous to not be going to get a vaccination, blah, 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 blah. Well, then you need to get your party in order.
Yeah.
You are essentially the leader of that party right now.
Yep.
And if that's how you feel about things and you're recognizing the issues out there, you have a responsibility. And it's not just enough for you to walk up and get in front of a microphone and say, well, this is how I think, and blah, 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 blah. No, if you're going to bitch about what Democrats do, then you've got to get your own house in order as well. And, quite frankly, I think we're beginning to see some of the pushback on that. I think there's a lot of mayors and governors right now who may have thought it was initially a hoax or not all that serious, but now we're coming around because they're seeing the numbers. They're seeing what happens in their hospitals. And some of them probably knew all along and just can't get the population behind it. So I feel for them. I do, because the party's left them behind.
Did you know? I mean, I don't know if you knew about the Tennessee thing. We were talking about it earlier, but they have now outlawed, not outlawed, but they banned the use of public property to conduct COVID vaccine sites. They're not putting any more money toward help getting teenagers to get vaccinated as far as postcards. They're taking it away from the schools as far as, getting information out. To me, this is the ultimate double down by the Republican Party. It is the ultimate double down because you're doubling down on your own voting bloc's life. I mean, you really are. You're saying to people that it is more important to literally stick it to Biden than to be alive. And this is something that this article that I read, man, I'll have to forward it to you because it's really good. It was a quote. And damn, I'm gonna read this quote to you, and you're gonna. It's absolutely amazing to me, but it's dead on. And this quote says this: "So long as lots and lots of people." Now this is from I think the Atlantic, and it's the writer's interpretation of what Josh Hawley was saying to defend the big lie, which we can apply to COVID too. But it says, so long as lots and lots of people believe lies and are willing to swear to them, there must be merit to them. And the courts, the media, and the government must honor them. What the fuck is, I mean, I have never said the F word this much this early into the show, man. But this is how ignorant, this is how sad that this group of people in our country are. And it's a massive group. It's a massive group of people.
Well, we've always seen it on a state by state level, them really kind of just doubling down on this type of behavior. The Deep South has consistently done it. But I mean, look what happened at CPAC over the weekend. They talked about how it was a great thing that they had stopped Biden from getting, to 70% or 90% or whatever he wanted. And the crowd applauded this notion. Now, if on a personal level, you don't want to get the vaccine or you have health issues that are, I mean, there are a variety of reasons for certain individuals to do it. And if you just don't want to, that is your right. It is your right to do so. I'm going to disagree with it and I'm going to tear it apart, but it's your right to do so. The government does not have the authority to force you to get jabbed. That's fine. But to cheer something like that shows a level of just, to me, inhumanity and uncaring. Because a lot of them have to know they're wrong. They're doing it just because it's problematic for Biden. And a guy, a Fox News contributor, actually called out Laura Ingraham, which I thought was kind of interesting because he was like, you know what? Back in October, you were cheering how much, that Donald Trump was amazing for getting this life-saving virus out there and getting it spread out to everybody. And now all of a sudden you've got a problem with it. Don't take it. And you have no new information. You have nothing that should make you feel that way. You're doing it simply because it's politically expedient and will harm your quote unquote opponent. And that's the kind of shit that, it's one thing to disagree on an ideological level and talk about whether or not trickle down economics, blah, 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 blah. But when
Right.
you are directly harming people with your behaviors, because you are, Tucker Carlson's directly harming people
Yes.
with this behavior now.
Yes.
He's encouraging people to harass children, and people have taken videos of themselves harassing kids. Like, they're fucking proud of it. So we've got a weird problem in this country right now.
Wait a minute. Wait. I haven't seen that. What's going on with that? Like,
yeah, Tucker Carlson encouraged. He said if you saw parents out with their children in public, that you should call them out on it, ask the children why they're wearing a mask when they're outside, and to call the CDC, or not CDC, Child Protective Services. And then
what?
There was a group of adults that were clearly out looking to do this, and they found like 3 kids sitting on a bench outside of like an outdoor mall or something like that. And the adults are just badgering these kids. Why are you wearing a mask on your face? Why don't you want to breathe the outdoors? Would you wear underwear on your face? All this stuff. It's honestly the level of ignorance that's going on right now is it's unfathomable. But I keep going back to, my experience at the Lincoln Library and Museum.
Mhm.
Man,
Mhm.
some of the shit being portrayed in the cartoons was pure ignorance too. Just pure, like, racist vulgarity for the sake of harming your opponent. And, I'd like to think that when I see Democrats do it, I call them out and say, that's not productive. There's a way
Yeah.
to there's a way to disagree. And you know what? We've got a funny show here, and we occasionally tear into people, but
Yeah.
I'm not a fucking politician.
No.
And if you want to have a legit debate, I'll happily have a legit debate. But there are times when you do get wound up and you really, really don't like what people are doing. But I've never once advocated harming our opponents. And
No.
I don't wish ill on really anybody in the world. But as Mark Twain said, I look forward to reading a few people's obituaries.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I mean, the thing is, if anybody's watching the podcast and you have any doubt, let me go ahead and articulate it for you, because I know Aaron will agree with me 100%. It is not cool in February to wear kente cloth and to kneel on the floor of the Senate to show solidarity with Black folk. That was jacked up, man. It's like, come on, man. We called that out. We will call out whoever deserves to be called out. And the fact is, this deserves to be called out. Yeah. This deserves to be called out by the right. It deserves to be called out by the right, because it's like, what are you doing? But the problem is, there's so many of them that, and Aaron, here's the scary piece. I saw that Troy had put, it's going to be Trump again. I don't think it'll be Trump, but
it'll be a new Trump.
Well, possibly. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know, but I'm not going that far yet. I'm going 2022. This is why every time I sign off, I say Black people vote, because we need everybody to continue voting like we did in 2020. Yeah. We have to vote that way, because these guys, they are chomping at the bit. They're doing it in our state governments. They're doing it. They're doing our local governments, and you have to be on the lookout. If you are a Democrat, or you're an independent that voted for Biden, or you're a Republican that voted for Biden, you cannot we cannot afford to sit on our laurels. We can't. We just can't. There's too much work left to be done. And if there's any evidence of that, it's the way that COVID is being treated, and the way that COVID, the messaging that COVID is still getting from the right. From Trump, who is the right now. It's disheartening. It's sad. It saddens me, and it infuriates me at the same time, because guess who's hurt most out of this? It is still people of color who are disproportionately hurt by COVID. And it just seems like nobody gives a damn about that anymore. We just want to be able to go out on our boats and drink beer and have a good time on the 4th of July. And it's like, you know what? No. I mean, if we would have played this right as a nation from the very beginning, maybe right now, maybe we could be, but we didn't. But we want to act like we had this all in the bag the whole time. We were good, and we've put in our time now. It's like, no, we haven't put in our time. No, we haven't. The pandemic of 1921, that lasted for 2 years, bro.
Yeah.
There were people 2 years later. I mean, 1919, all the way to 2021 or 1921. I mean, this thing lasts. It takes time to tamp down a virus. I don't know what else to say, man. I don't know what else to say.
Well, and we're going to come back around to fall into winter. And, you know, I actually went into a store today and they still had a sign up that said, you know, face masks are encouraged. And I thought, you know, I've been pretty flippant since I got the vax, and I feel good and I feel confident in it. Mainly because I have a fair amount of confidence, you know, in our CDC and our health organizations. I know they've screwed up in the past for sure, but I don't think they try to do it. You know, I think their goal is to be successful.
I would hope so.
For most scientists. So, you know, it's going to be interesting. And I'm thinking more and more about, okay, you know, when should I begin putting a mask back on? Cause I also, you know, I remember first couple of weeks afterward, I think I got, you know, I've probably had a couple colds or some, you know, sore throats since, you know, I've gotten the vax, simply because I was wearing a mask all the time and being a lot more, you know, concerned about that sort of thing. So be interesting to see, you know, what happens with that as we move forward. Cause it's just, you hit it on the head. If we'd have taken it serious from the outset, and had a well-coordinated response to it, we wouldn't have anywhere near the numbers that we've had. And there's a very good chance we would be about done with this thing, you know. But even places that have done it right have seen, you know, flare-ups. New Zealand has had issues with it. Various other places in Asia that initially handled it well have seen spikes. So, you know, it doesn't take a whole lot. You know, it takes an errant tourist, you know. That's you know.
Oh, wow. You know, the other thing about this too is, you know, Troy just said I've been sick since I stopped using a mask and had to go to the doctor to get amoxicillin. Wearing masks, never sick. It's amazing because with this new, and I'm calling it what it is. It's a surge, up 50% over the last 2 weeks. I mean, that's significant. And guess what we're approaching, Aaron? 1 month away from young people going back to school.
Yeah. In which the CDC was correct in encouraging, you know, in-school services. I can appreciate that. But, you know, if we see a spike in, you know, the young population again, that could be catastrophic. I mean, it really, really could. Now, the one upside is that most of those teachers will have probably been vaccinated.
Right.
So that certainly helps out. But if it's, you know, the new variant, who knows how long, you know, the antibodies from these vaccines are going to last. So maybe we don't see anything on October, but we do in February. It's really hard to gauge what's going to happen. I just real quick, I want to say we don't have interns around here, so there's no fact checking done at the end of the show to remind us what we fucked up. But we strive for accuracy around here. And I made a statement earlier, and all of a sudden I remembered, you know what? I think I've read somewhere before, and I did misattribute the quote and actually how it was said. I attributed it to Mark Twain. It was actually the lawyer Clarence Darrow. And the quote is, "I have never killed anyone, but I have read some obituary notices with great satisfaction."
Okay, so, there you go.
As we strive for something approaching perfection around here, which we will never attain because we're human, but I just wanted you to know that I remembered that. So
there you go. Excellent, man. I'm proud of you.
The claw.
Awesome. And let's see. Yeah. Okay. So I wanted to fact check myself, and I did see this right. So on July 3rd, 4,690 new cases. Yesterday,
Yeah.
41,835. So I'm sorry, I was absolutely wrong. It wasn't 50%. A lot more than that.
Well, and Brazil is still dealing with problems because they've never, they've got the machismo South American version of Donald Trump as their president down there.
Right.
So he basically called it a hoax, and he's also the kind of president who his response to, well, if the people in the favelas get it, then they'll all die.
So on that note,
yeah. Well, I mean, that's he's very much what do we do about addicts? Nothing. Addicts solve their own problem. They die.
Wow.
Um,
He's an Ivan Drago. If he dies, he dies.
He does.
There you go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached halftime of the show, and just it's been a long week already, my friend. It has been a long week already. You know what's been going on with me, and it's nothing bad, nothing major, just crap. But I do have a shout out, and I'm going to send this shout out, halftime shot, send it out to my brother Jason.
Excellent.
Jason, you're a good dude, man. I'm proud of you. My man is just doing his thing, and he and his wife Andrea are cool. I love them. I haven't said very much about him on show, and I wanted to correct that tonight because he's a good listener. So, my brother Jason,
outstanding.
What you got, man? Anything?
Just a quick hit, and I suppose we could talk about it a little bit further, but I just right before the show, I saw this and I thought it was kind of interesting, and I think it deserves just a shout out in general for good recognition, because we've seen women's sports kind of getting a little bit more shine over the last year, and of course the U.S. women's national team get most of that. But I want to say Candace Parker, first women's professional player to be featured on the cover of NBA 2K, the video game.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that's a cool step. I'm going to assume that means you can play the WNBA teams in it, which is even cooler because, again, representation matters. There's little girls out there that are gamers too, who want to play Candace, who want to play Maya Moore, who want to play Tamika Catchings, who want to play all their top players.
Can we go back? I wonder if we can go back into legend mode and like be Lisa Leslie, or you know what I mean?
I want to be Cheryl Miller.
Oh,
and then play Reggie one-on-one and spank his
ass. There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
So anyway,
you know what?
It's a shout out to the zeitgeist, and a shout out to your brother. Cheers. Sláinte.
Cheers. Sláinte. Okay. Intro our next piece. I'm going to get some more beer.
Right on. Well, because it's a good little segue, I'll answer Troy's question. Are you guys going to watch Mexico tie Guatemala tonight? I hope we watch Mexico tie Guatemala tonight. I only watched part of their game against Trinidad the other day, and I thought Mexico brought a fairly decent squad, but I'm not quite sure. I'd have to look into it. Honestly, on the heels of the Copa and the Euro, I just can't say I'm all that hyped for the Gold Cup, and especially when I look at the U.S. men's national team roster and realize it's a C+, B- team, and I'm fine with that. I'm absolutely fine with it. But all I really care about is these guys get some run, because very clearly we aren't in a position to play our first teams in this tournament, and I understand that. So I get what Berhalter is doing, and I will watch some games. I watched part of the Haiti game the other night, although I don't recall very much of it because I had spent the whole day watching the Euros and all that jazz. Will I watch it? Yeah, I'll probably have it on in the background and keep an eye on it. I kind of do want to. It'll prompt me to take a look at Mexico's roster and see who they did bring.
What time does that start? 9?
I'm gonna guess 8 or 9 o'clock.
Okay.
I don't know where this game is. I think the U.S. is hosting all the games.
Hang on, I'll find out.
But I would imagine that's West Coast. But yeah, I'll be tuning in, Troy. So hit us up. And that's a good segue to the weekend's games. It was a hell of a weekend for sports, really, and it's been a hell of a few days for sports. Love this time of year.
Yep.
But you know, we got Wimbledon, which is always great, and we saw another legend crowned, tying both Nadal and Federer with 20 Grand Slams. So good on Djokovic. Kind of never in doubt. Although
9:30,
her cause
9:30
did
by
push.
the way.
Okay, nice. I'm guessing Fox Sports won.
Oh, I just closed it.
I'm guessing. I'm pretty sure it's
Yeah.
Fox Sports.
Yeah.
They've had most
Okay.
of the Gold Cup games. And you know, her cause gave him a little bit of trouble, but ultimately you knew Joker was going to get through it. And then Saturday night we had the final of the Copa, and Lionel Messi finally got his hands on a trophy with Argentina. So cheers to him. It was not the greatest of finales, to be honest, which is kind of to be expected when Argentina and Brazil get together in a game that matters, because you know they're just going to kick the stuffing out of each other. Di Maria's goal was both really, really nicely taken and some really, really shitty defense. I mean, it was just a long ball played over the top that the Brazilian defender went to clear and absolutely whiffed on.
Oh wow!
So now Di Maria is in behind the defense, and he did lob the goalie very nicely. And Di Maria is a sweet, sweet, sweet player to watch. But the rest of the game was really just about 70 minutes of kicking each other and just shitty football. So, but on to the
well,
next.
you got to be happy for Messi, man. You gotta be happy.
I am happy for Messi. I am. And then we had the Euro final. Again, maybe not the greatest of games, you know, as far as enjoying the football spectacle, but it was an incredible, you know, spectacle as an event. Obviously, going to extra time and penalties. You know, England scoring so early. And I think we all joked England scored way too early, because I don't think anybody ever thought 1-0 was going to win that.
Yeah.
Italy kind of left it late. You know, in terms of really giving an opportunity to go on and win the game, nobody really looked to be going for it, from what I could tell. And then ultimately, I've got to say, here's my critique. I think Gareth Southgate has been a great coach for England. And this is the one time he got it wrong. He waited way too long to bring on substitutions, especially guys he wanted to take penalty kicks. Rashi was cold. Sancho was cold.
Yeah.
Saka had been on.
Saka had been in there.
And I want to say this. Here's a criticism that I've heard multiple people say is, why was a 19-year-old taking the last kick? Why didn't a senior player step up? Blah, 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 blah. And I'll tell you this. These guys practice. These guys practice this stuff. They know who can hit penalties. Guys, I'm sure, were volunteering. Jack Grealish made it a point to say, look, I'm not going to stand for Roy Keane calling me out. I asked to take a penalty. I wasn't chosen. I respect the manager's wishes, but I'm not going to be made to act like I didn't fucking try to step up. So here's what I think. I think these were the 5 guys that Gareth Southgate thought were going to hit penalties. And I said it all along. Rashford's not super healthy, but there's one thing he can do is hit penalties. And honestly, he didn't take that bad of a penalty. His penalty did not get saved. He hit the post with it. He beat the goalie all ends up. And, you know, if that ball is, you know, half an inch to the right, it tucks in off the post. It's unfortunate. Sancho's penalty was bad, but I don't even think he touched the ball in the game. So I kind of give Southgate a little shit for that. And then Bukayo Saka, it was a terrible penalty. There's no question. But I find it hard to believe that anybody was like, oh, what the hell's he doing out there taking a penalty? I'm sure he'd been whacking him in all week. And unfortunately, you know, nerves in the moment got the better of him. Italy played well enough to win, and people should be proud of the English players, rather than defacing murals of Marcus Rashford and sending racist epithets to all their social media platforms. It's really,
wow.
really
I have not heard any of this, man.
It's been horrible. There's a mural of Marcus Rashford in his hometown of Withington, and it was defaced. And then all of them have just been getting nothing but, you know, racial hate speech on their social media. There was a huge outpouring in Marcus Rashford's little borough or town, where a lot of people came out, took a knee, lit candles and shit. The outpouring of love, again, as Martin Luther King said, love always beats hate.
I had no idea, man. I really had no idea, but you know what? does not surprise me. It just doesn't surprise me.
No, the English have a real problem with their type of racism. It's very social media in nature. I think ours is more in your face.
Yeah.
Theirs is a little bit more. I won't say subtle because it's just shitty to just put some shit like that on somebody's
Yeah.
social media. But um, overall, I've got to say, if either team had won that match, they were deserving champions.
Mhm.
And Italy kind of, I won't say they came out of left field, but I don't think anybody was really calling them a favorite. They were definitely, dark horse is a little too strong. Dark horse is reserved for Greece in 2004. Uh,
Yeah.
but I mean, the Italians are the Italians. They've got more than one star on their crest.
Yeah.
But they really brought it together, and congrats to them. What did you think of the match?
Well, I mean, literally, man, I was sitting there watching it, and I was heartbroken. I was heartbroken for England. I
Mm,
really was. It's oh my God, it's like watching your little brother, up to bat, ninth inning, bottom of the ninth, bases loaded, 2 outs. All he needs to do is get a hit. The poor guy makes contact with the ball, and it almost goes through the hole, but the shortstop cuts it off and flips it to second, and ball game over. It's like, oh my God, you were so close. It for me, the match was really, really entertaining.
mm,
It was an
mhm.
entertaining match. It kept you on the edge of your seat for, I'd say, in the second half, especially because you could kind of feel the momentum swing. Italy just hung around, man. They just kept hanging in there, and I don't know, did you get the sense that England kind of took their foot off the gas a little bit? I mean, they I don't know.
I
It
don't
seemed
think
like
they
it was, yeah, I don't know.
I guess I'll be splitting hairs here because I don't think they took their foot off the gas so much as I Italy happened.
Yeah.
This is what happens in a match of this level. This is heavyweights. You
Hmm.
can't just go diving in because even if you think you're better than the other guy, he can throw a right hook and knock your ass out. You can't
True.
just go running in willy-nilly. And England was not like that. They actually struggled with Italy's press in the opening minute and then made I mean the goal they scored, if you watch it from start to finish,
Oh, it was a
is
terrible
brilliant.
error on defense.
The
Terrible error on defense, though. You don't leave Shaw open. I mean, you don't leave
Well,
anybody that open.
but you have to understand that Italy was still in their press, and England, I can't remember who made the turn. I don't remember if Shaw played the ball to somebody and they immediately made a turn. That may have been Kane.
I think,
I can't recall if there
yeah,
was
with
a
yeah,
one or more passes, but remember England played short. They played a Shaw. Shaw gets out of a little bit of trouble, if I remember correctly. And I think the ball gets played to Kane, and Kane makes a world class turn on midfield and then sprays the ball to the far side. And I guess that I'm going to say went to Kieran Trippier, who, here's the thing, is it bad defense or is it an amazing play for Luke Shaw to sprint all out from the left back position? And yeah, he was wide open. And I'm going to tell you, you play him that ball another 10 times, he's probably only hitting that again, maybe 3 or 4 more. And that's
mm.
no diss on Shaw, but do you know how difficult what he did is to hit
Oh man,
at,
I and
at,
just out of the
at
yeah,
full speed, full drop on a volley? And I mean, the second he hit it, it was a goal.
yeah.
It was either killing someone in the stands. I tell you what, if it had caught the post any cleaner and came back, it would have knocked Shaw out. I mean, he drilled that thing. He must have hit that with, I mean, with the pace of the ball and everything. I bet that
Yeah.
ball was traveling 100 miles an hour. You did not want to be on the
Wow.
receiving end of that.
Wow.
Um, but Italy just played their way into the game because that's what they do. I agree it was England's to lose, but I think this is the first game where Southgate kind of got his tactics and it definitely his substitution's wrong. Not that he shouldn't have brought on Rashford and Sancho and Saka. I think those were definitely the right people, but the
Hmm.
timing hurt them
Hmm.
uh, really a lot. But what I do want to say, there's been a couple comments in here
Yep.
that I want to address. Da, 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 da. Troy's comment about agreed, Aaron, but I don't know. You have to have guys who have played. I mean, I understand that sentiment. Um, I mean, I'm a little confused as to why Saka was, taking it. But I mean, I've got a lot of confidence in Marcus Rashford. Um, and I could have seen him taking that penalty at 19 years old. And when I think part of the problem is when you look at that England team, you don't have quite the same names that you may have. And again, Jack Grealish offered it. I'm sure a lot of people raised their hand to take it, and
Sure.
Southgate had a choice to make, and the guys just didn't do it. It happens. I mean, I've been known to miss a penalty from time to time. It doesn't really happen all that often, but
No, and Troy makes a good, and this is what
yeah,
you said. I mean, it's
sub
like,
Rashford
you got to
earlier.
sub, yeah, you got to get him in earlier so he can
Yeah.
get warm.
I
I'm
I
like,
I think he and Sancho probably should have been brought on from the outset of extra time, and
mhm,
definitely at halftime of extra time. You've got to at least get their legs up to speed with the game. Just coming on and the first time you touch the ball, you've got to
yeah,
try to put it in the net. That's something. I feel bad for Sacco, but I'll tell you this: the last tournament they played in, the English made it to the semifinals and lost. This tournament, they made it to the finals and they lost. Do
yeah,
not bet against England going to Qatar
yeah.
and not getting this far, because pretty much all of this same team is going to be there again. I have a feeling the changes will be Dean Henderson is going to be your starting goalkeeper.
Mm, okay,
Um, and you may see one or two changes across your forward line.
yeah.
But I think this is going to be largely the same team, and they're they're not gonna have the same fear. Whatever caused them the problems this time, nah, man. I think they're looking for the next one, and that's all you can hope for out of a team.
And I think those three young men who missed those penalty kicks, I think they are going to be some of the most hungriest football players in the universe
Yeah,
to get back and to, as long as they don't press, as long as they don't just, force anything, but just play their game,
yeah,
that you get them to a final.
mhm,
I I could definitely see if Rashford's healthy, starting
yeah.
Sancho, Saka, and Rashford. You've got to. I mean,
Well,
these guys, they're too good not to. They're too
Marcus
good
is
not to.
Marcus has been injured since November. He injured his
Yeah.
shoulder badly, and he has decided to undergo surgery. So he's going to miss the first 2 months of the season. God help you all in October.
No, I hear you. I
I'm
hear you.
I'm telling you, because I've gotten to watch this kid play for a while, and one, he's just a tremendous human being. You watch his stuff off the field, but this guy trains, and this guy learns from the best. This guy calls up the best. This guy wants to know what the best are doing, and he's emulating that, and he's forging his own way. And I think Marcus Rashford is going to end up being a legend at Manchester United.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now we have Jadon Sancho, and they can commiserate over this together, and they can kick your ass together. And Bukayo Saka, not an Arsenal fan, but I wish that kid well, because he's played his ass off all season long, and he's great for
Yeah.
England. Their futures are bright.
I think Saka. I think he has the opportunity now to be one of the saviors of Arsenal. I mean,
For
he
whatever
very
that
well.
means now.
Well, I mean, Arsenal. I mean, we could talk about that all day, but I think that these guys, even like a Mason Mount, Mount played solid, but where was I don't know. I don't know. I think these guys, this meant more to them. Not saying it meant more to them than Italy, but I think this meant more to them because you're playing in Wembley. Wembley, you're at home. You brought it home. Now let's
Yeah.
bring it home. And my question is that And I don't know. Maybe Chilwell was hurt. Maybe he was hurt. Where's Ben Chilwell in sub situation? Where's Reece James? Reece James started in 2 of the group matches. The guy's amazing. Where is he at?
I will agree more with the Reece James than I will the Ben Chilwell, because I don't take this the wrong way. I'm not sure what Ben Chilwell offered to the national team. I'm not really sure why. I mean, he seemed to be cover. And then once he had to go into quarantine for being in close contact with Billy Gilmore,
they didn't bring him back.
That kind of set him down.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose you could have at some point in time done what they did with, Kieran Trippier and play him wide in that 3-4-3. If you went to a 3-5-2, you could push Shaw wide, and you could have played somebody else back there. But I think Reece James had more to offer. And if I had any other critique of Southgate, I would say he reminds me a bit of Solskjaer. He knows how talented a team he has, and he was more conservative than I think he needed to be. I don't think there was a need to always play 2 holding midfielders to protect that back line. Especially, I mean, I got to be honest. I've been a critic of him myself, but if there can't possibly be any more question marks around Harry Maguire. The guy has proven himself in the same way that over the last year, John Stones has proven himself. And as Troy just said,
Pickford.
I mean, these guys, there's been flaws in their game that you could look at. And they seem to have taken those criticisms to heart and worked on them, and don't really seem to be able to get picked on that way. Harry Maguire is never going to be faster, but he does seem to be playing the game in a way that negates the fact that he's, a slow steamship in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah. And I got to say, man, that with everything about Jordan Pickford, we joke about him and things like that. The guy put England back into the penalty kick part. I mean, he literally gave them a shot. He gave them a shot. And so, to do that on that big of a stage, that definitely has increased his value. That's increased his value. But it just, like I said, I'm still sitting here today reliving what I felt when Sacco missed, and it was just like it wasn't anger. It was literal, like, just sadness. It was sadness.
I was surrounded by a bunch of Englishmen, and I mean, I'm an English fan, but I'm not an Englishman.
Right.
And I got there. I got to the bar 20 minutes before they opened. And so did an Englishman and one of his buddies, an American. And I chatted with him for a little bit. And I mean, he was white knuckled the whole game. And I think he wanted to throw up the second they missed it. And he wasn't mad, I don't think, at any of those players. But I think this was a gut punch in a way that he hadn't been gut punched for a while.
Speaking of that, before we go to my favorite segment, there's something I did want to say. And I wanted to lead in with the whole Naomi Osaka thing. I know this is kind of a pivot, but
pivot.
Mental health is real. And, I love the fact that athletes are starting to pay more attention to that. And I'm just going to come out and say it. I was there with Aaron at the bar, ready to cheer on and stuff like that. And I had a bout of anxiety. Aaron was so awesome. Buddy, I love you. I love you for your discreet manner in which you handled it. I love you for just really not covering for me, but just making sure that I was able to exit when I needed to. It's real, man. I mean, it is really real. And when you're around people, you just never know. You don't know when it'll kick in. You don't know when it'll happen. But the more stuff I read, about Osaka, it's interesting because people, are like, suck it up. You're a multi-million-dollar athlete. I don't care if you're a multi-million-dollar athlete. I don't care if you're a college professor. I don't care if you're, a whatever, whatever. Mental health is real.
Yeah.
And if you don't have people that understand that, know that that we at the pod, we here at the pod, we understand that this guy sitting to my right, your left, it means the world to me. And that for me, and I wanted to tell you this, man, that to me just I haven't had a friend do that for me. I haven't had a friend like really care that much about making sure I was cool. And I salute you for that, brother. Thank you. You a good dude, man. So with that being said, let's have some fun, shall we? Come to the favorite part of the show is my favorite part of the show is the Hey Aaron segment. And tonight I'm going to ask Aaron, I'm going to say, hey, Aaron, what do you think about this headline? What I have is I picked a few funny headlines that I'm going to just read parts of it. And I just want to get your reaction to them, my friend. How's that sound?
Hey, Troy.
Troy and Nick, what's up? So Nick. Here we go. Let me make sure that I share screen. Now, there's some of them, but please pay attention to the one on the right, the far right. Okay, so pay attention to the QAnon.
Nick McDonald.
Nick is watching. That is awesome. What up, Nick? Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The Hey Aaron segment. Hey Aaron, what do you think about this headline? Federal agents raid gun shop, find weapons.
Well, I mean, I feel like there's more to the story. I hope there's more to the story. I'm assuming they mean illegal weapons or, not supposed to be there.
Yeah. Here's another one. Murderer says detective ruined his reputation.
Well, I mean, not everybody deserves to be smeared.
Yeah, but I mean, a convicted murderer has sued the detective who arrested him, saying the investigator ruined his good name in comments published in the Times News. I mean,
well, okay, was the article published before or after he was convicted? I would assume you'd have a leg to stand on if it was before. After,
I see what you did.
I think you've made your own bed, my friend.
I'm going to have to read the first paragraph of this one, my friend. Here we go. Man eats underwear to beat breathalyzer. An 18-year-old Stetler man, first of all, he doesn't look 18. He looks freaking 40. Tried to eat his underwear in hope that the cotton fabric would absorb the alcohol before he took a breathalyzer test, provincial court heard this week. What do you think about that?
Okay, well, first off, this is in Canada. This just makes me giggle. This makes me giggle. Secondly, yeah, this dude is at least 36.
Right. Yeah, I'm like, come on. He's not 18.
Also, he looks like either a child molester or a serial killer. I'm not sure which.
It's like you're flipping through Netflix and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I wonder who this murderer is. That's great.
I've heard a lot of things to try. I've heard putting pennies in your mouth, obviously gum or mints or things like that. I've heard the penny trick. Honestly, I mean, eating your underwear sounds like a fucking horrible idea on about I can think of at least like 3 or 4 different levels right now. Like not least of which is, do you really think you're going to finish it before the cop gets there? Also, boxers or briefs. I think that's important.
That's very important. That is very important, my friend. All right, here's the next one. This one, it woman in sumo wrestler suit assaulted her ex-girlfriend in gay pub after she waved at man dressed as a Snickers bar.
Okay, this is definitely a British newspaper. I'm looking at the top up there. This is totally some yellow journalism, like fucking bullshit, red top shit over in England. This is probably the Sun, and the next page probably has a naked woman. Honestly, if I saw this, it would be,
yes.
Can you imagine if you're out at the bar, just say we're out casual at the bar hanging out, and you see a woman in a sumo wrestler suit get shitty with a regular. Here's what I want to know. What was the ex-girlfriend dressed as?
Right, exactly. They left an important piece of reporting out of this story.
Well, have you looked how many words are already smashed into that headline?
All right, so here is one that just it's like a what is this? Like a, well, I'll just let you judge it. Here we go. Fire crews called after smoke seen in sky turned out to be cloud.
You know, it happens. I mean, I you don't want the whole crew put out. You know, you're hoping they sent, like, you know, the little truck. But you know, better safe than sorry. If
someone had to be smoking weed here, man.
If you see something, say, yeah, it was. Well, never mind.
Someone. Now you've heard of a one-armed man in a ass kicking contest, right?
And a drummer.
One-armed man applauds the kindness of strangers. Wow.
You know, they could have chosen better. I gotta believe that this kind of looks like an Onion headline. It's just the way that box is and everything. But
yeah. Jay Cronley, my friend. Oh my gosh, he needs some, like, what is it called? He needs some sensitivity training a little bit there, I guess. Yeah. Here's another one for you. Best man left bleeding after being hit in the head by flying dildo. First of all, let's think about this. Best man. So when did this happen?
Well, it does not look as if he was actually at the wedding.
Yeah, I know, but look at the little, see, I'm just saying right here.
No, I get it. But I mean, this raises a lot of questions. Was everyone dressed in a Native American t-shirt at the wedding? What kind of appropriation bullshit was this? Yet again,
keep talking.
This looks like maybe Australia. Yeah, this looks like, I mean, I'm guessing that's what that country is in the middle. NT News. I don't know. This is definitely some just shitty English style journalism, which of course Australia would be following in the footsteps with. 2, you brought a dildo to a wedding. I mean, that seems an important question to me. If they'd have said, if this was, you know, bachelorette party drama, I get it. But really, the wedding? The wedding. You don't need a dildo at the wedding. Maybe later. Depends on your day. Skylar would like it. Skylar would like the idea of bringing a dildo to a wedding. He would see the humor in this.
But that's my thing, man. I'm like, okay, first of all, how do you get to be best man, right? Looking like that. Like, dude, what kind of wedding is it? What kind of wedding is that? I'm like, and then flying, what are you doing? Shooting stuff like into the crowd and shit? Like, you know, what?
I'm guessing somebody hurled a dildo as a joke. Which, by the way, folks, let me tell you, hurling dildos is not a joke.
That's okay, my friend. Here you go. This is one, quite frankly, that I could relate to. Man cuts his friend's hand off because he showed the finger circle way too many times. Yeah, I'm down with that.
That seems excessive, but I got to be honest. If somebody did the finger circle thing to me and actually thought they were going to be able to punch me,
right?
Yeah, They would probably get
I'm
stabbed.
I'm 48 years old. Don't show me the finger circle. Don't do it.
Right.
Just don't. It's funny until someone loses an eye.
It's
Ah,
it's funny if you do like a ha. Don't actually think you're gonna like punch somebody and then cross it out.
right, right. I don't care how drunk you are. I don't care. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, Todd Smith. Oh, whoops, my bad.
You did go there.
Here is the headline that I call no more fucks to give. Homeless survivor winner. Now what? Sacramento, the city of just no fucks to give, right there. I mean,
Well,
it's I know what it's said, but the headline is like,
do you know when this is
wow.
from? Because look over to the right-hand column. Look who's the mayor of Sacramento at the time of this.
Kevin Johnson.
Yeah, former NBA player Kevin Johnson. Do you remember him?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
KJ.
Yeah, he did not go over well in Sacktown.
Nope. Here's a no shit Sherlock headline. State population to double by 2040.
Do not show the circle game to I. He will fucking throw hands.
Oh no. Oh no. What did he say? Okay, if you show a circle, I'm just gonna assume the fight has started. Yes. Yes. Okay. I'm with you, man.
I'm fucking with Io during the next Chelsea match.
I don't. Hey, I'm there with him.
From across the bar. We'll see what happens. Okay, I'm gonna give a long distance, yeah.
Here you go. I kicked burning terrorist so hard in the balls that I tore a tendon in my foot.
Well, that's just
now I realize it's a daily record. I realize, but listen to the artistry of that headline. I kicked. Go ahead.
No, I mean, this man is. I mean, he's an injured hero.
He is. He is. I think the Scottish government should take care of his tendon, and I think we should start a GoFundMe page for this guy.
Well, chances are the Scottish government will take care of his tendon.
Oh, there you go.
They have better healthcare.
There you go. This is a headline about a fallen star, and they fall really, really fast. The sewer was blocked by a large poo.
That's just a headline. That's a copy editor with a good sense of humor right there.
Dude, but look, he's on a 2 or 3 day like meth bender.
That's sad.
Yeah, it's sad, man.
East Kilbride, South Lanarkshire. I got to be honest. It's in Scotland. Because I'll be honest. Sometimes I think they're just making up shit.
He's laying there going, "Oh, bother." He's like, yeah. I'm just saying.
Well, this is a remake of Train Spotting with poo.
Wow. Oh my gosh. All right. So we have a few comments. I'll be fast, and you better hope my kids are there. Okay, that was good. Troy said, so did you hear Messi lowered his salary by 50% and signed a new 5-year contract?
Yes, I did, but they still can't book him until they offload some shit and are okayed by La Liga. They've got some issues. And going back to your question, Di Maria is a sweet player and he's got some great skill. But he's not as good as Messi because I don't think he's as mentally tough as Lionel Messi, as evidenced by his time at Manchester United. And I also want to say this, they have proposed, I don't think it's been finalized yet, but they have proposed a match between Argentina and Italy.
Yeah, you were telling me that.
Between the winner of the Copa and the Euros, but to stage it in Napoli in honor of Diego Maradona, that would be fucking amazing. And I gotta be honest, I think I'd probably try to figure out how I could get a flight over and get.
Oh wow,
that would nice. Be pretty sweet to be at. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yep. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of the Hey Aaron segment. I just thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for watching. Now it's the second favorite part of the show for me. That is Aaron sends us off with his final thoughts. So, Aaron, my friend, what's your final thoughts for today?
My final thought today is a little different. I saw this earlier today, and it struck me as maybe a lot of people aren't familiar with this person, might not know what his influence is in the culture or why it's important in the world. But Cornel West was not given tenure during his second stint at Harvard, and chose to resign and left a somewhat scathing letter to them in his letter of resignation. And I would encourage you to read it, but I'd also really encourage you to look into who Cornel West is, and the things he's done in our culture. I mean, he's a philosopher, he's a minister, he's just a brilliant mind, he's a brilliant speaker, and he's one of the people that I found myself that anytime I'm listening to him, I feel like I learned something, and I feel like I gained something for him having been involved in the conversation. But more importantly, even when I find myself disagreeing with him, which isn't all that often, but there are things that I've heard him say that I'm like, all right, man, I get where you're coming from, but I don't know that I necessarily agree with that. I still come away believing it was good thought.
Mhm.
And I don't know that there's that many big forces in the world like Brother West out there, and I say that with the utmost love. I really admire the guy. He's confrontational. He's good trouble, um,
Mhm.
and for Harvard to not recognize the need for a man like that at their school, um, kind of underlines what he's saying, is that Harvard's kind of gone astray a little bit. And I feel like the country's gone astray a little bit, although you could say that maybe they're going back to their roots. Um, but either way you look at it, um, it's another point on the line to recognize and say, look, we need more people like him, and maybe I'm that person, or maybe I need to find that next person and support that person, because we need those voices. Um, Cornel West loves America and wants the best for America, and much like James Baldwin said, I love America so much that I reserve the right to criticize her on a day-to-day basis,
Yep.
because I believe she can be better, and that's what really loving something means. And I think we all need to remember that. Like Evan said, he says Black people vote because this can't just be a one-time or a two-time thing. This has to be an every-time thing, until we get to a point where our quote unquote opposition parties get back to looking for the common good, if they ever have, and trying to move us forward, um, if not as a unified force, at least two sparring partners that know that good sparring makes both of them better. And that's my message this time around
Here
is,
you go, man.
find some people to have good, yeah, to have good conversations with. If you hear somebody, good speaker coming to town, go see them, support them, because they might be the next Cornel West. Um, they might be in the next Fred Hampton.
Oh
They
man.
might be the next Martin Luther King Jr. They
Next
might
Sam
be
Cooke.
the next Malcolm, might be the next Sam Cooke. But we need all these people to keep the movement moving forward. And I think you all, for the most part, tune in because you believe the same thing. So if you get the opportunity, take it. Love you all. Thank you all for tuning in. And change is going to come.
Black people gonna vote. Black people vote. Love you, man.
Love you.